is the memorial of St. Ignatius of Antioch, great martyr, bishop of the early church, bishop of Antioch, also called Constantinople later on, and today Istanbul. He was the successor of St. Peter in Antioch, I believe. So, morning prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good and gracious.
Looking back toward our hotel on the Sea of Tiberias, and we have now arrived at the Mount of Beatitudes for Mass here on top of this mountain. This is our Mass site today. We're looking out over the Sea of Galilee, and there's Tiberias right over there where we are staying. And here's where we're having Mass. Look at this beautiful place for Mass. Outdoors, just like Jesus when he was on the mountain giving the Beatitudes. Here comes the bishop and our 3 priests. Look at this beautiful place for Mass outdoors. Here's where we're going, right down here.
Was Joseph ever a carpenter? You see wood in this country.
Holy, 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 merciful and mighty, God in 3 persons.
This is the headwaters of the Jordan River that flow out from underneath this rock at Caesarea Philippi, where Jesus said, "You are rock, and on this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of hell," right there, "will not prevail against it." I love bringing our groups here to talk about the papacy and the whole history of Israel and the church. This is the huge cave. There was a temple in front of this cave. The pagans used to throw living sacrifices into this. This was called the gates of hell. With a temple, it's like the church. And Jesus said, "I'm going to build my church on a new rock, not this false rock. And I'll have a true church, not this false temple. A true sacrifice, not these kind of living sacrifices." And there's where Pan was, the niche to Pan. People used to come and worship the god Pan here, the god of sheep and shepherds. And Jesus is appointing Peter here as his new shepherd. The whole site just screams the papacy and the Catholic Church. They have an arched top and a flat bottom, and they have idols put in there. They had idols of Pan and other gods put in there. This was a famous place all over the Middle East. People used to come here to worship the god Pan and to have those kind of like unholy religious orgies even in front of this god, because they're all dealing with fertility gods and so on. And in front of that big cave there at the time of Jesus, there was a big white temple. It was made out of imported marble from Greece, and it was a big huge temple, and you'd walk through the temple and you'd throw your living sacrifice into the water. At the time of Jesus, that cave had no bottom. It was all water, and Josephus, writer of the 1st century, said they used to lower down a stone, a rock on a string, and they could never find the bottom of that water. Today, there was an earthquake a long time ago, and it filled it in, but that was at one point just water. That just sets the stage so you'll know what Jesus and the disciples saw when they came here.
All Jasmine's Gloom, and those are very beautiful, different white and off-white and purple and pink colors, and it's like the whole area has been painted with different colors here. But look at the terraces. Look how they terrace the mountains even further up as we go. Keep looking to the left. And this is an art that is fading away. Not many people in the world know how to do that anymore. It involves a lot of work, a lot of hard work, not in the only...
Now we stopped for lunch with Lebanese food made by the Druze, and this is the family that owns the restaurant that cooks for us. There goes the goat yogurt, called lebna. Goat yogurt first goes on the bread, and a little olive oil, and then the za'atar herb. Then it's wrapped up tight and put on the grill to get warm. And there's the sandwich. And so here they are making the Lebanon sandwich. Very good, thank you. Here they are making the Druze bread sandwiches. Here's the owner of the restaurant, our friend. Here's everybody going in to get a seat and a drink. Great lunch here. We're going to try this falafel here, see how it tastes. That's a big bite.
What do you think?
What do you think? Pretty good?
Anybody want a sandwich?
Yes. And here's the Druze sandwiches.
Thank you. Mother?
Steve is also an American, and he knows more because he comes here more often. But if I were to share with you, I'd like to say, regardless what...
We're now looking across at Syria. The Syrian border runs right across there. We're about a half a mile from the border with Syria, and then it runs up there. 2,000 years ago, Saul of Tarsus was coming through this valley on his way to Damascus when he had his road to Damascus experience. This is the UN compound, but that right over there is Syria, and we're all talking about how the Christians are suffering over there, and we're going to stop at the end and pray for them.
Recording the true factual things that are happening here. I want to say that we Christians in the Middle East, we're a minority everywhere we go in the Middle East.
Almighty eternal God, source of all compassion, the promise of your mercy and saving help fills our hearts with hope. Hear the cries of the people of Syria. Bring healing to those suffering from violence and comfort to those mourning the dead.
Venerated that spot as the place where Jesus placed the bread and fish and blessed and multiplied. And what's interesting is that the year out there says 28 AD. They venerated that place as the place of the multiplication. That's kind of strange a little bit, right?
Our group is listening to Amr explain the history of this church, which was marked from the very beginning. And we're soon going to go in here to see the church, and I'll show it to you now. Very unusual to come into the church when no one's here, so I'm able to show it to you better. This is called Tabga, which means the 7 warm springs, and this is the place where Jesus multiplied loaves and fish. This altar is over a rock that marks the place, and that mosaic. Here's the ancient mosaic in the church that marks the spot, and here's an image of Jesus feeding the 5,000 plus women and children. And our pilgrims love to come in this church and pray, and then we get back on the bus and we head to the next site, which was one of our favorites, the Primacy of Peter, where Jesus fed the disciples breakfast on that first day. Here's the church built over the Mensa Christi where Jesus fed the disciples. Our group has just entered the church here to venerate the place where Jesus made a charcoal fire to feed his disciples. We call it the Mensa Christi, the table of Christ. And a group of Indian Catholics here celebrating Mass. Here's a nice image of Jesus appointing Peter as a shepherd of his sheep.
Do I take a group to, Nazareth in 20 years, God forbid, and I say once upon a time there used to be 11,000 Christians living here in this town.
Arrived back at the Ron Beach Hotel for the free afternoon. Everybody had time to enjoy the sea and read the scriptures and catch up on their emails. We know on the first full day of a pilgrimage, after they flew in yesterday, people are tired, so we don't try to push them too hard and we bring them back to our hotel. Look at this place, Ron Beach Hotel. Every room has a balcony window out to the sea. Here's a lot of our folks already. They're already out swimming. Look at that, swimming in the sea. What's on here?
We are. Wait, one at a time. We're experiencing the cultural significances of the Sea of Galilee.
We're feeding the fish.
We're feeding the fish.
We're feeding the fish. That's right. Well, what happens is when you go in this water, there's little fish and they nibble on your toes and they nibble on your feet. My grandkids spent hours just laying in there counting how many fish were biting them and nibbling on them.
Oh my God.
Isn't that fun? Here we are at the Sea of Galilee.
What's the effect on your skin after this?
What's that?
What's the effect on your skin? Anything?
I don't know of anything, but it sure is fun to say you had fish nibbling on you in the Sea of Galilee.
Are these little minnows?
I don't know what they are, actually.
You don't know what they are?
No.
You put us in harm's way?
They would call it.
Having a glass of wine, reading the Gospels that relate to the site. Anyway, we're signing off for tonight. I hope you join us again tomorrow. From the Sea of Galilee, Steve and Janet Ray.